Hi guys. Okay, so I'm on Facebook. I'm going to try to tell all of you. And then we're gonna do, let me just shut up for a minute. Hello, welcome to the Food Rebel, Eat Like a Food Rebel Plant-Based Cooking Challenge. It's a whole week-long event starting today, and we're gonna be talking about detaching from dinner. I have a whole bunch to tell you about this. And this part, obviously, we're not cooking in the kitchen. I'm not showing you like actual things yet because we need to lay the foundation for what plant-based cooking is and looks like, and talk about some of these like constructs that I think are getting in the way and making it really hard for people to do this like healthy cooking thing, which is vital to life, okay? All right, so videos. It's really sunny today. Share. You're in a group. Okay, make sure that you're in my Facebook group, Food Rebels. So you can come talk to me anytime you want. All right. Okay. Eat like a All right. Okay, I'm back. So, here's what, let me just lay the outline for what we're doing this week and why I wanted to do it, okay? So, in my like role as a coach, as a health coach, as like a gut health expert, all these different things like come together when people have conditions in the body, and the solution for you, for all of us on all the spectrum of health is we need to be eating this way. We need to be eating plants. We need to be eating real whole foods. And even in the realm of real whole foods, we need more, mostly real, whole, colorful, alive foods. And that's your friends, the plants. So I want to start this off by saying I teach plant-based eating in a way where you understand what foods do in your body, what they do physically, what they do emotionally, what they do vibrationally, how they shift you, how they work in you, so that all of your systems of the body can wake up, be alive, and work for you the way that they already are, to such a higher degree that your body transforms, your health transforms in a way that you never knew was so easy. What this takes is plant-based eating. What this doesn't mean is that you have to be a vegan, that you have to eat raw, that you have to eat only fruits and vegetables. No. Okay, you might do one, some, or any of those things at different times in your life. There is no ultimate rule about this, okay? The rules come from what is food and what do our bodies want and what do they actually need. And so where you are, what your body is doing right now, where your health is, what it looks like, what it feels like, that's all gonna dictate what you do more specifically under the realm of plant-based eating. If you wanna change it, which if you're here, that's probably why you're here. Hi, Dana. And to make that real, to make that happen, what I kept seeing over and over with like a lot of my clients was like, okay, I get it. I get what you're saying. I get the answer. I get the solution is to be eating more plant-based, but it's so hard. I don't know what to do. I hate to cook. This sucks. You know, I want to eat this, but I can't. Am I going to be ruined? Am I not going to get what I want? You know, there's all these things that go on. So this week, I'm going to just be walking you guys through a lot of like basic stuff that I hope makes your life so much easier, and that you kind of can grasp like, okay, this is what plant-based eating looks like. Here's a lot of shortcuts. I get what I'm supposed to be doing, and you can start implementing them and seeing benefit from them, because you will. As soon as you start to add more actual vital alive nutrients to your life, to your body will wake up and it will respond back to you in a positive manner. So, before we get into like, okay, what's for dinner, and how do I make fast, healthy dinners, and what do I do for snacks, and like what does all of this look like, and how much protein do I need? We're gonna get to all of that this week, but right now today, what I want to do is to talk about detaching from dinner. And this has a lot to do with like probably the way that you were brought up around food. This is something I used to have my clients do, and I still do, is have them write like a food story. So it kind of like just wakes up your mind to be like, oh, that's why I do this. Like, how were you raised with food? What was taught to you? So that's actually like a good first exercise that you guys can do, and I'll remind you at the end for like homework, okay? But you want to realize that the way that you look at food today, the way that you look at how dinners should be, and I'm just picking on dinner because it typically is the most energy draining meal of the day for people and for families, especially because there's just like all these people are here now, and like everyone needs to eat, and there's all this stuff going on because we live in a different world. But I want you to get that, first of all, the way that you are either judging what you're doing now as good or bad or right or wrong is having a lot to do with like how you were raised, and then the idea sank into you that like this is how it should be, and if it's not like that, then maybe it's right or wrong, okay? Or maybe you just like get that you're supposed to be eating more plants, but it feels like really overwhelming, and we want to look at some of the background, the ideas behind that, so that you can like just have freedom and clarity to know ultimately that the way that you eat, the way that your family eats, it doesn't have to look any certain way. You just need to be focused on getting real nutrients in, getting real food in, and being able to enjoy it and not having stress about it. And, if you have a family, if you have children, then being able to do that for yourself and for them, right? Until they're old enough to cook and help out, because that's part of our role as parents, is to like know this and to learn this and to teach it and to actually model it so that our kids know it like inside and out, like the back of their hand, just because then they don't have the food health drama that so many people right now do, where everyone has diseases and everyone is sick, going to like, the wrong solutions, instead of looking inside and saying like, hey, I can handle this and I can prevent this, but I do need to do the things that it takes in order for that to create a change in my body, right? Hi, everyone. Hi, Teresa. Teresa, are you in Cabo? Are you still gone? Everyone, it's like a spring break around here. It's like so quiet, strange and quiet. So, okay, what does detaching from dinner look like? So let's just say that you were raised sort of like I was. Okay, so family dinner was like such a big deal, and everyone had to be there. My mom would get so mad if like not everyone was there and not everyone was eating the same thing, or it was like sort of like a sacred, I guess probably more like family time thing than just like what are we eating. In fact, that's what it was. And I know a lot of people, if you also grew up in this area of the country, or wherever you grew up, this could be part of the journaling or the awareness exercise of your food story. What was the food culture that you were grown up with? Mine was a lot of red meat. Like, okay, so the main dish of dinner usually was like spaghetti and with ground beef in it, or meatloaf or meatballs or goulash or hamburgers, or I don't know, pork or chicken, but a lot of that. And then pastas and potatoes and corn and peas and canned things and soup. And so you just need to look at, okay, well, that's maybe like what I thought was like normal, and the idea that everyone had to like eat together and that it had to be this like sit down dinner and meal. And so the first thing that I want to tell you is it doesn't have to be like that. It's most likely not going to be like that, right? If you've got 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, a spouse, a partner, some roommate, who knows? Like everyone's doing their thing. And what you have to remember too is this concept that we all need to be eating at the exact same time, the exact same way, the exact same things, that's not needed. That's not necessary. Now, I'm not saying that to say that one person has to be in charge of making all the food and now all the food has to be different or can be different and that should be more stress. That's not what I mean at all. So I just want to like loosen the idea of what dinner really needs to look like. This is coming a lot from the idea of like our human designs. So, and comes back to how we like watch little children eat and how they know when they're hungry and when they want to eat and when they don't. And so it really just sort of continues like that as long as you allow it. But then when we start to put rules around, well, now it's lunchtime. Well, now it's snack time. Well, now it's dinner time. If you're not hungry, why are you eating? You know, if you are hungry, why aren't you eating? So get first the fact that people are going to be hungry at different times of day. This is going to be influenced by what is your human design. It's going to be influenced by how much energy did you expend today? Were you sitting around? Were you running around all day? It's going to be impacted by your mood, by your emotions, your stress levels, all kinds of things. So just know that you don't all need to be like eating this like dinner or something that takes an hour to make, half an hour to make, 20 minutes to make, or whatever. It can be whatever you want it to be. Now, with that, we want to just make sure, well, what does dinner need to be then? Well, dinner and like lunch and like all these other meals too, it just needs to be you getting real nutrients into your body. And so when we think about dinner, and I think we'll get into this too a lot on, I think it's Wednesday that I'm talking about protein, but like the idea that we have to be serving a plate that looks a certain way, that has chicken on it and green beans and rice, you know, because that's not true either. So the first idea is let your family eat when they're hungry. If this is an issue for you at all, as far as like, I feel bad that everyone's on the go, don't worry about it. If that's your lifestyle right now, then just let it be that. And just what we want to do then instead is to make healthy food accessible all the time in really quick ways, okay? And that's really what we're going to be getting all the way into this week, because you know, it shouldn't be harder for us to know how to eat a quick, healthy, plant-based meal than any other kind of like quick, convenient, fast foodie type meal, or even like instant box type meal. It's really simple. It's not a factor of time. So if you can take away this idea that it takes longer to cook plant-based, it's harder to cook plant-based, it's more confusing, it's really not. So it's just like understanding a few concepts and then getting familiar with different kinds of foods and like what it looks like. And then it's just as easy to make yourself some kind of plant pasta dish than to make macaroni and cheese out of a box. And the two dynamics of what happens in your body, in your kid's body, your family's body is forever changed, right? This is huge, you guys. Like, that we can't use this excuse that like healthy is hard and it takes a long time, because it doesn't. It's just a lie. So let it be what it needs to be. And especially at the beginning of your movement, maybe more into eating plant-based, all you can do is like the next thing that you can do. And if that means like stop buying a lot of packaged processed food, do that. And then instead, like, you don't have to be making all, I said this to a client on a messenger audio just a little bit today, your plant-based eating doesn't need to look like beautiful Instagram photos yet. You just need to get some carrot sticks in your mouth, you know? So I would rather have people eating carrot sticks and hummus for dinner than stressing about making like some kind of fancy recipe that you need to follow. So your priority is to get more vegetables into your dinner. So if you guys are watching or you watch the replay, I would love for you to like type in the comments, what are you doing right now, like mainly for your dinner time meals? And if you have kids, let me know, and like what they like to eat and what is it looking like right now, and where do you feel like it's the hardest part about like maybe transitioning a little bit more, like wherever you are right now, we can always like add more nutrients in easier, simpler ways. So whether your hold up right now is like what to actually do, or like how to actually use the vegetables, or just getting more creative ideas, I don't know, but you can tell me. So the first part is like, where can we start to swap out this traditional foods that usually comprise an American family dinner meal with a lighter, more alive, more healthy option or alternative, okay? So I'll go through just like a few of like the main ones, right? Okay, and so the first idea is the fact that we as a country, as a society, are eating way too much protein and fat. And because we are eating way too much protein and fat, it's omitting the space for the plants. And because we have this like really strong attachment, and like everyone's saying like, how much protein are you getting? And like, what if you don't have that on there? Well, then what do you have instead? And are you gonna like have enough muscle mass and lean mass and all of this stuff? It's like just really ingrained that we need to be eating a lot of meat. And you know, like the keto thing, which is huge right now, is like all about fat and protein, right? And so that's kind of backwards of plant-based eating. I mean, people can do like a plant-based keto, which then it's really not keto. But so that's the first thing. Like, so we all have heard this idea and this concept about meatless Mondays, right? Which is partially about like sustainability for the country and like our carbon footprint, but it's also about our bodies don't actually need to be eating animal protein. Like, you would survive without it is the point. You can have it, but how much are we eating of it? How much is it a big part of your daily intake? Like, are you having bacon for breakfast and eggs? Are you having, you know, a huge piece of chicken on a salad for lunch, but not that many vegetables? And what about your dinner, you know? So if you think about your day, morning, noon, and night, and the snacks in between, how much space is there right now to be filled with fruits and vegetables versus fats and proteins? So this is the big mind shift that you really want to have to start impacting your health in huge ways. So I wrote a blog, it's like 2 blogs in now back, which was like leading up to this challenge, which was like, what does it actually mean to eat plant-based anyways? And I just kind of explained in there like the dominant outline, which is we need to be eating real whole foods. And within that, there's some like intricacies, right? So we need to know when and if we are eating animal protein, that it is coming from a safe, clean, and well-sourced place. Meaning, like, if you're eating seafood, wild caught, no farmed. If you're eating beef, grass-fed, organic, or bison, right? And if you're eating chicken, organic, or turkey, organic, you know, you have to know that when you're eating another animal, especially animals like that the larger kind, that they have organs just like you and I. So like a cow has a liver, a cow, a turkey, chicken, they've got adrenal glands too. And if you understand the body and health, you understand that, well, okay, adrenal glands are responsible for hormone productions and your liver is responsible for clearing out hormones. And if you're consuming something that has those things going on, then you're taking those things in too. And so if you're trying to like balance your gut and clean out your liver and balance your hormones and lose weight and have beautiful skin and you know, get rid of cramps and all that stuff. You have to pay attention to this stuff. So beyond the fact that you're eating something that has hormones, which you then take in, it's like, what was that animal fed? Where was it grown? What was the environment like? The cleanliness factor and all such things. And I know it's kind of like we don't want to talk about this stuff sometimes, but it does matter. And those type of foods, while it is true that you can consume them, from a practical standpoint, those foods are really hard on our bodies, harder than any kind of like salad, any kind of smoothie, any kind of like, you know, like just plant-based alternative for protein or otherwise, like not even focusing on protein, right? Because there's this difference when you look at a food. I want to share some of the ways that I see food so that you guys can kind of like just like step back maybe and look at it in a way where it is viewed as fuel and it is viewed as energy. And if you can look at food as fuel, nutrients, energy, instead of like so much of like emotional choice or like a convenience factor choice, then it will be so much easier for you to know like, well, what's going to make me feel better and what isn't going to make me feel as good. Or if I am transforming a health area condition, what's going to do that? What's going to move things the fastest, the most, and what isn't. Okay. So I'm sort of speaking right now as if you already got that, cutting out like the processed food, the macaroni and cheese, the fruit snacks and like the fruit roll-ups and the Twinkies and all of that was like an already automatic duh, okay? Because it is. Like that's not really food. So if you're not doing that yet, then my prayer to the heavens for you is just do it. Like go into your pantry, go into your refrigerator, go into your freezer. If it has a bazillion letters in it, a lot of words, if it's, you know, frozen food that was made in 1985 and it's still there, like throw it away and just make a promise to yourself that you will swap it out for simpler, pure, whole things. Maybe I'll add a video on like what the cost of like eating healthy is and like the opportunity cost. I've done a video like that before, but I feel like I could do one again. So that's the first layer, right? Get rid of fake food, get rid of food dyes, get rid of junk, and move to more of a whole foods based diet, okay? But then from there, we're moving into like plant-based, because plant-based is healing, you guys, along the whole spectrum of health. Like you just need to be having, oh my gosh, I just got a message from Instacart with pictures of avocado and carrots and like vegetables saying, are you running out of healthy items? How ironic, right? Because this is how, like I've set up my life, and as far as food in the food world, so that it's so easy, like all these shortcuts to have plant-based. Like I have like a little app reminding me to order more healthy food. Like, do you have it on hand? But of course I do, because I make it a priority, okay? And so that's really what you need to do too when you're thinking about like, okay, what is it gonna take for me to be eating like this plant-based way, this plant-based diet? It's a commitment. And yes, it's gonna look different and feel different to what you're doing right now if you wanna make improvements within the way that you eat and your family eats, but you'll learn and it'll get so much easier until it's like an afterthought and you're like, oh, why was I not always just doing this? Like, it's not that hard, okay? And I'm gonna help you make it so much easier. It's my goal in life, to have everyone eat healthy food. So back to the main construct thing again, like the well-sourced protein, if you choose to eat it, gotta have it. Then if you're looking at a whole foods diet, grains, you wanna go with gluten-free grains. That would be things like quinoa, rice, amaranth. I know quinoa is a seed, but we put it in the grains category. Oats, and make sure they're all certified gluten-free. And one step better, can you find them sprouted? And then from there, if you're using them for different recipes or things like that, then you want to make sure that those things like the pastas that come from those foods, the flours that come from those foods, like the products that come from those foods, like crackers or etc., that those are just made the most simply as possible. Okay, and then you go into the area of like seeds, right? So seeds are amazing for us, and that would include things like pumpkin seeds, pepitas, chia, and flax. And you want to make sure those things are included in your plant-based diet. And then you would go to like nuts. Well, there's a place for nuts too, but they are higher in fat. Yes, they have protein, but don't go overboard with almond butter when you're trying to switch to plant-based, because the main concept here is how do you get more fruits and vegetables into your body at all times, okay? So when we think about like detaching from dinner, just what are the things that you can do right now that are going to add the most plants to what is a traditional dinner meal? So let's talk about that. So a lot of people know, like, okay, spaghetti and meatballs, or just pasta, something with noodles. It's like really quick and fast to make, right? Because you can like boil it in a couple minutes and then it's done. So when you're thinking about that, what can you use instead of like traditional wheat pasta? You know, you're gonna make huge strides if you can like just reduce like refined grains and switch it out for something that actually has a purpose and a point in your body. So that's when you can look at things like kelp noodles or zucchini noodles or sweet potato noodles or beet noodles, or you know, like even broccoli slaw that you can buy in the stores ahead of time. If you're having pasta, then go back to that main list, right? So you can choose a pasta that's from a gluten-free grain, right? Like quinoa, or you can go another step lighter. So it's all about energy. So if you're trying to like energetically lighten the load so that your body responds and can like have the easiest time, you go from like traditional pasta to gluten-free plant pasta, such as like a grain, like a quinoa pasta or rice pasta, to what could be lighter than that? Well, what could be lighter than that would be the zucchini noodles, the sweet potato noodles, the beet noodles, the kelp noodles, the spaghetti squash. Do you see how it goes? So it's like heavier to lighter, and then the more you stick up here in the light foods, that's the energetic shift, and that's the nutrient density increasing to come in and to like push things through and saturate with nourishment and to heal and to shift things. So you're really just looking like, where can I put the plants where they formerly aren't in my meals and in my dinners? So a dinner can look like a healthy pasta, right? It can look like, well, we used to always have like rice. So instead of that, you can do cauliflower rice, you can do broccoli rice, you can switch out the different, there's blends of different vegetable rices already done for you, right? Already made. So you can just buy them. Like you don't even have to rice them yourself. Like, and I recommend just buying them because it's a shortcut that's worth it. And you know, almost every store I go to now or order from online has like $1.99 organic cauliflower rice in the frozen section. And that's a really affordable shortcut, and it's a really big difference in the body and in the recipes that we're using that rice for, right? So that turns into stir fries, that turns into sides, that turns into fillings for wraps or you know, like sandwiches and that kind of stuff instead. And so again, if you go from like rice, regular rice, that's like a heavier, denser energy, where it's brown or white, right? Usually black maybe. And if you're looking at the color as an indicator too of the frequency and the vibration and the value, then just know like the more white, brown, carby, things like that. It's not that carbs are bad, you guys. It's that you're missing out on the higher activated foods, and you want them, and you want them all the time. You want them to be the majority. So it's like, okay, we go from the regular rice or grains to the cauliflower rice, to the broccoli rice, to the shredded carrots, to the shredded rainbow carrots, to the shredded broccoli slaw, to the shredded cabbage that's already made. Like, so it's literally the same time. It's literally the same like you're still buying a thing that's like had something ready made done to it, right? So you can either buy a bag of rice, you can buy a box of quinoa, or you can buy a bag of cauliflower rice or shredded carrots or shredded coleslaw, like not coleslaw like with the mayo, but it's already shredded. Like this is so quick for you guys to have for cooking methods. So these are some of the foods that are my healthy shortcuts that cut down hugely on the time investment to make a quick dinner. Because if I were to go and do cauliflower rice from scratch, you would have to like buy the head of the cauliflower, take it out of the bag, wash it, cut it off. All of the stuff crumbs all over the place and sprinkles all over and gets on the floor and is annoying. And then you have to chop it up, and you have to get your food processor out, and then you've got to like pulse it down. Then you've got those dirty dishes, and then you've got the cauliflower rice, right? Whereas, oh, hi, Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or Instacart, I'm just grabbing my $1.99 bag, and literally I don't even have to thaw it out. You can, but if I'm using it for a stir fry, I just get my deep dish saute pan and throw it in there and stir it around. Depending on what I'm making it with, like I layer in different vegetables and cook them in order so that they flavor appropriately and look better and taste better, but it is as simple as that, right? So you've just made a huge shortcut, and you can't tell me that your kids or your husband or whoever doesn't like it, because it is so filling and satisfying, you know, because we even went to this restaurant yesterday, and I was going to Instagram it more, but Dalton was all over the booth talking to the kids that work there. But it was this place in Johnston, if you're a local person, and it was called like Healthy Food House or Healthy House or something, but it was like a bar, like a salad bar concept where you build your own lunch or dinner. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like exactly how I make my own food, and I've never seen it in a restaurant concept before. And so this is what I'm explaining to you right now. So they were like, okay, you can make a salad or you can make a bowl, and their bowl was like a plate. So I was like, get a deep bowl, people, fill it up. But you just start layering things in. So if you're gonna make a bowl, like a rice bowl, a Buddha bowl is what they were called, but we are gonna lighten them up with plants. And this is like my main issue with eating out, even at like vegan restaurants or health food restaurants, is and I don't know if this is like a money thing or cost thing, a food cost thing, or just like they don't make it that way kind of thing. But it's like, it's usually a lot of like rice or quinoa or like grains or like soba noodles or like a starchy noodle or grain. And then they have the vegetables on it, which are all good. But if you can swap that part out and do all lighter foods, plants, meaning like you could do lots of different greens on the base, and then you choose your cauliflower rice there, and then you add in your toppings, just like if it was a Buddha bowl or a rice bowl. It doesn't matter that it's all vegetables. It's lighter. You might think like, gosh, that's a lot of fiber, but it's really a lot of water content, and it's all working in you, and it's all working for you. So going back to this idea of like, what can a dinner look like? Let me just give you guys a couple of the things that I use for like go-to quick dinner times, okay? So what we already talked about, those first two are constant mainstays. So all of the different kinds of plant noodles, that one, and then all of the different kinds of like rice grain alternatives. And so whatever you can make from that is like the shortcut, because it doesn't take any longer to open a bag of arugula or, you know, triple washed mixed greens and put them in a bowl than it does like to put something else that's in a package in a bowl, right? And then if you want other things with that, then it's just like layering them in. So we're gonna get into like the specific, like the cooking stuff in the upcoming days, but just like add to what you have right now. So if even all you can do right now to be more plant-based with your family is to like add spinach into your regular pasta dinner, then do that. You can add greens into anything, or you could even add things like peas or snap peas or peppers, you know, into your pastas. So it's really about more vegetables, and then it's about replacing the non-vegetables with the lighter plant-based foods, okay? So what this takes is like being familiar with some products you can buy in the stores, and being familiar with vegetables in general that we're gonna learn how to cook in different ways, so that you do have more options when you're thinking about what to make for dinner. And this is how I do it, where I don't necessarily like make plans, like menu plans. When you can open your refrigerator and kind of like just look around to like what you have, and then if you know how to use those different foods, then you can just come up with an idea based on the cooking method of that food, okay? And knowing where it falls into the swap out line, okay? Excuse me. So those are the first two really quick ways. The third one that anybody and everybody can do is if you have a sheet tray, which I know you do because everybody bakes cookies, a cooking tray, cooking sheet, and you have an oven, which I hope you do, you can do roasted vegetables. And everybody loves roasted vegetables, but it's about like what other kinds of roasted vegetables can we be adding to, right? So I want to say this too, there's nothing wrong with potatoes. There's nothing wrong with any kind of potatoes or sweet potatoes. They are healing and nourishing. They absorb toxins. They bind bad things in your body and your gut, and they help to pull them out. You need to eat more than potatoes, but if that's like the next best thing that you can add more veggies, then do that. So you can roast your vegetables. So of course the obvious ones are like just chopping up into the same size pieces, like regular kinds of potatoes, the yellow ones, the red ones, the bee-sized ones, the sweet potatoes, and then things like carrots. But can you get a little more creative? Instead of just regular orange carrots, you can buy rainbow carrots. And even if you want to make it easier still, you don't have to buy the carrots in the bag that need to be washed. You can buy the pre-washed rainbow baby carrots that are literally in a bag. And so your job is to push your button on your oven on, to turn it on to the roast setting, and to get your tray out and to dump your rainbow carrots on the tray. Maybe 2 or 3 bags, right? To make extra and have extra. And then you can spray them with your olive oil mister or your avocado mister, crack some sea salt or any other kind of herbs that you want, and put it in the oven, and you've got like delicious roasted vegetables. And I always encourage you to make more when you're doing that, because you have them for leftovers, right? For all of your lunches that are on the go, or for snacks for your kids, or for lunches for your kids, or just a snack that you want to grab, right? When you're in the car or going to a game or whatever. So, but there's other kinds of vegetables you can roast besides potatoes and carrots. You know, really, broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, eggplant, mushrooms, yellow squash, they all work really well in the roasted fashion, and it's just the simplest way to start, I think, for a lot of people to add more and to have extra on hand, because you don't do anything to it except wash it and cut it and spray it and put it on the oven, right? That's it. It's done for you. And so much with cooking is just a few steps and then putting it into a cooking mechanism and then mixing it with something else, okay? So roasting is one of the biggest things. And so if you're thinking about dinner, don't stress about it, right? Like, your healthy dinner could be as simple as you don't know what to make, but because you listen to me, you buy plants and you keep them on hand, right? So you know you always have certain fresh vegetables in your refrigerator, and you have certain frozen vegetables, at least 2 or 3 kinds in the freezer. This could be as simple as buying a couple of those 1-pound bags of mixed vegetables, California medley, broccoli, snap peas, carrots, anything, you guys, anything. And you say you're like running late and everyone's hungry, okay? So what you do, the shortcut is you come in the house, so the first thing you do is you turn on your oven so it starts to heat up right away. And then take your kids' shoes off, whatever, wash your hands, and start to get the food out. The oven is already heating up. And then literally, because you do have stuff on hand, as easy as opening a bag of baby rainbow carrots, or opening a bag of frozen cauliflower, or maybe you want to work a little harder and you want to chop up some zucchini or potatoes, put it on the tray, spray it, season it, pop it in, okay? And then because you also listen to me, you always have on hand healthy dips, which can substitute for even needing to add any protein to your meal, but just roasted vegetables, and you have different kinds of hummus that people like. You have marinara sauce on hand that doesn't have added sugar. You have guacamole, or you have avocado, or you can even use like different sugar-free salad dressings or spicy mustard or honey mustard for dips. And that could be your quick plant-based dinner. And a lot of times it is for mine. Just remember, like we said at the very beginning, people are gonna have different levels of hunger at different times of day and different times of life. And so don't make it a big hard thing to make where, you know, like you have to be Susie Homemaker in the kitchen making chicken or pot roast. No, you don't have to do that. You can just throw vegetables in the oven and give your kids some hummus. Be like, there you go, enjoy. And I get if you have like a lot of meat eaters in your family, then on Wednesday we're gonna go through how do you do like shortcuts with the protein, and how do you always have protein on hand if you want that kind of thing, okay? But just for now, I want you to remember, like, to think about what is your idea of a healthy dinner? Does it make sense that everyone's gonna maybe want different things, that your dominant need for dinner meals and really any meals is that most of your plate comes from plants, and that can look any kind of way that you want it to look, but it is about replacing the heavier, energetically denser foods that most of the time are what we use for dinner, and swapping it out for a vegetable alternative, okay? So noodles for lighter noodles, grains for lighter grains, no salads to adding greens to things, or adding a whole salad to something. And knowing that every time that you add a vegetable, 1 or 2 or 3, or you move in towards making most of your plate vegetables, most of your bowl vegetables, you're having huge impact on what your body is capable of doing for you now, because you have lightened the load dramatically. And that's all your body really wants you to do, is to give it the most accessible nutrients and foods. And so that's really your job. And the main priority of eating a plant-based diet is how much color can I get in? How many foods can I swap out that were, you know, non-useful, toxic, preserved, you know, basically dead, or not useful in my body, to light, vibrant, alive, and choosing them more of the time over and over and over again. And that's how you make progress with your health, and that's how you make progress with your body. So try some of these things. Try doing meatless Mondays, but try doing it like 1 or 2 or 3 days a week instead. And try doing like a dinner of just a bunch of rainbow roasted vegetables and hummus or marinara for yourself, for your family, and see how it goes. Maybe you'll need more snacks, but that's okay too. But I will tell you that when you eat mostly plants, it is filling. It is gonna give you that factor of satisfaction and of being full, because it is what your cells are looking for. And when you're going through any kind of health thing or any kind of body transition, you know, there's gonna be a period where the food is going into you and it's doing work, but you don't maybe notice it right away, or you don't feel it right away, but it is instantly working. It will instantly work because your body's like craving it. It's really just craving it all the time. And so for you to see that change manifest into your physical, it really is about the consistency of pouring in all that works for your body, literally as fuel, okay? So if you wanna know, so we're gonna go all the way through more details of it this week in this challenge. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything here. For the first day, so the detaching from dinner idea. Yeah, just remember, like, this doesn't, you don't need recipes, you don't need to take an hour in the kitchen. It can be light, it can look different ways. Your kids can eat different things than you. And then the rest of the week, we're gonna talk about more details. So, okay, tomorrow is planning with protein. So we're gonna talk about how much protein we need, plant proteins versus animal, etc. And then we'll talk about vegetable must-haves on Wednesday. Thursday, we're gonna talk all about fruit. Oh, I can't wait. Friday, we're gonna talk about fun foods and like swapping out comfort foods for lighter versions in simple ways. And if you guys have any questions, if you're watching the replay or whatever, just put your comments in below. And if there's something that you specifically want me to address, if you have like a burning question about healthy cooking or feeding your children or yourself, or a body change that you're looking to create and manifest, then let me know. And remember, I'm taking new clients right now in a shorter type package. So it's a 6-week session, private coaching with me. And it really is to kind of go beyond just like, how do I cook this? How do I do that? But it's more for you if you're a mom. Hey, Kristen, I hope you're doing well. I have some good ideas coming up for you this week, so keep watching. So if you're a mom and if you're stressed out about your own health, your own body, and your families, what really needs to happen is that you need to be certain of what you need to be doing first, and you need to be confident in food for you. Meaning it's not a battle with like, should I be eating this? Is this bad? Is this wrong? And also we can have drama with like, I want to eat that, but I feel like I can't, or I won't get what I want, but I feel this like split energy between like what I need to do and like actually doing it. So all of these kind of emotional ties that we have with food that hold us back from like having the health and then having the body that we want. Because I know health is one thing and then the body is one thing too, and they can be completely intertwined or they can be separate. And so I know that you guys that are watching me, you want to be healthy, and you want to make sure that you are just, giving your body the actual fuel and nutrients that it needs. And that's such an important goal to have. It's actually the dominant priority. And in my perspective, the more that you can focus on your relationship with food as being, is this healing for me? Is this actually nourishing for me? Is this actually doing something for me because I'm worth it and I don't want crap food in my body? I almost said a bad word. I'm trying not to swear as much. But if you can focus on that relationship of what actually does my body need, because I'm here to give it to myself, because I want to be as healthy as I can be, and I don't want to be limited in any way by my body or by my health, because you don't need to be. And I know there's a lot of women out there, and that time in my life when I was experiencing like oh my gosh, what's going on? I don't want anyone to see me like this. I feel like so gross. Like I can't wear my clothes. I can't go out of my house. Like that was just terrifying for me, and I don't want anyone to have to live like that. So I mean, I know how it limits your relationships, it limits what you do with friends, it limits what you do with your children, it limits how you feel on vacation or in the summertime or at the pool. So it's really about like, if you're the mom and you don't like the way you look right now and you don't feel like you're giving yourself the health that you need and deserve, or there's symptoms in your body or health that feels like not there, then this package is for you. And we're gonna focus on you first and making sure you get clarity about what your body's asking for and what you need, and then how you form this healthy relationship with food, and that you know what you're looking for. And by doing that and by getting that under wraps first, then you become the model easily and effortlessly for the rest of your family. And so it's not this thing like, I know I need to feed them better, but I don't know what I'm doing. That's a really hard place to like create change from. So when you just know what to do and you're doing it day in and day out because that's who you are now, and it's just the way that it is and you like it, then it's a huge shift from where you stand in being able to help your children do this differently, and to show them how food can be fun and how it can be like not a big deal, and how we don't want to like create like negative relationships even for our kids by like saying that's bad and that's wrong and you shouldn't want that, because kids and their food is a whole different thing. That's a whole other video, which I will do for you. But so that's what this package is. So it's 6 weeks because I want to make sure that we get you really solid in what you're looking for and how you're feeling, and you know what to do. And I'm there because I will hold you accountable to doing it, because at the beginning it doesn't feel easy, right? But you just have to do it. So you have to like find the habits to put into place day after day after day, so that you're actually showing up and that you can see the results, because we can't take the physical food and the practical stuff out of the equation when we're talking about our bodies. We know what to do, and so if we're just being ignorant about it and not doing it, then we're not going to get the fast results or the results that we want. And so you have to do the work. And so it's about knowing what to do, what your body needs, what's going to work for you, to shift you, to get you to feel better in your body and your health, and to drop the weight. I'm sure most people want to lose weight. And because that's coming from inflammation, right? And just not being the way that your health is meant to be. So that's how, when you focus on the relationship with your food in terms of like a narrative around health, more than like, does this make me skinny? Does this make me fat? It's so much easier, because that's actually the way that the food is meant to interact and to play with you. It isn't, this food makes me fat, this food makes me skinny. It's your energy on it. It's knowing what food is supposed to do. And then it's working through any of like the beliefs and the emotions that are coming up that are keeping you from having that health and having that body, because you need to have it, right? You have a lot to do if you're a mom in this world. And if you have other things going on, all the more reason, right? Because everything changes when you feel good in your body and you feel good about yourself. So that's who this is for. And then we're going to focus on getting everything in order for your family, your household, after we get you straightened out. Okay. So it's not like you have to do it all at once, but you'll have two official calls a month with me for month 1 and month 2. And then you have unlimited access to me via Messenger or via Boxer, which is a cool app that I use with my clients. Okay. So message me if you want to know about that. It's like a smaller package, but it's like a really significant amount of time to see changes in your body and your health, okay? And then I will be back tomorrow. I'll post later today what time I'll be live tomorrow, so you guys know. And tomorrow we're talking again about planning with protein. So how much you need, what kinds, is vegan better or not, how to have ready to go protein, plants or otherwise, always ready at your fingertips, okay? And so this will be really good to know. Okay, that's it. Message me with questions and I will talk to you soon. Bye.